Learning JavaScript? Let's start by skimming over the articles on Geek for Geeks because it is the one of the most trusted source on the internet to learn any concept, especially regarding to web development. And I know that it also began transcending into AIML, machine learnings, etc. So without any further ado, let's begin on our Firefox. So here we are going to geeks4geek.org. But isn't too quiet here? So in order to fill some void, I'm going to play some public domain music right into VLC. Do you know that we can stream music over VLC? After the opening of VLC media player, when you go to Icecast radio directory, it searches for all the available online radios. First let it search complete. Till then, we can open our JavaScript. What we are learning? We are learning JavaScript. And here our playlist is loaded. This is the all the online radios that you can stream for free over VLC. And this is the one of the few things that I discovered 3 or 4 days earlier. And since then I am listening radio on a loop continuously. So what I'm gonna search is some public domain channels, public domain classical, and one second. It is outputting through my speakers on the laptop, not on this headphones. So I'm gonna say yes. Now it's okay. Oh, 1 second. I think you guys are not hearing it. I think you might now hear what I am hearing through this VLC media player. And let's begin our skimming. So JavaScript is the most powerful and versatile web programming language. Before we begin this kind of video, I'm just gonna say to you, this is not a sponsor or an advertisement, but I just want to make you guys install this extension known as Jump Cutter. Actually, what it does, it skips the silent part of this kind of long form of videos because this video may go to up to an hour or more. But by using just this extension, you can boost your productivity by skipping over the silent parts or the parts which are not that important. It automatically profiles the video on the basis of the sound profile and automatically skips or fasten the video when no words are spoken. So it will make the skimming of the this kind of videos much easier to watch on a tight deadline or a tight timeline. So that's all for me. Let's begin. JavaScript programming language create dynamic content on the website, lightweight, cross-platform, single-threaded. And just like I used to make notes side by side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open a VS Code window on the side of this and create a new directory. A new folder, not folder inside a folder. Actually, I have to create a folder here. Make directory JS GFG. ठीक है. Touch readme.md. I'm very sorry. move to directory JS, and there I have to make the touch readme.md, and then we are find the readme md file, and here we are going to copy paste some of the things that we learn about JavaScript. Lightweight, class from single threaded. Next, this is our table of concept, JavaScript basics. Essential for a web developer is a for behavior of web page by learning with develop skill versatile है. Client and server side works in both client and server side environment, end-to-end solution, constant evolution. You know that the TypeScript is an evolution of JavaScript with certain addition of features as well as type checking. It is often known as loosely packed language, which means that it doesn't follow, yeah, it doesn't have any implied standards. So we need a language which is a super set of JavaScript known as TypeScript in order to abide it by rules. Next, JavaScript has a vibrant community. The all things that you have seen in red has been already read by me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going through it, because it has been quite a long time since I read this. So start with introduction to JavaScript. I am very sorry. Introduction to JavaScript. Scripting language for web pages, development for web pages, and weekly type language. Yes, that is. JavaScript is a weekly type language, or we can say the dynamically type. Next, client side and DOM model, document object model, client extension replace HTML, allows application to place element on an HTML form and respond to user events such as mouse click, etc. Server side, imperative language simply controls the flow of computation. Procedural programming approach comes under the async await, which we're thinking what to be done further after the async call. Declarative programming. The async await thing actually delights me about JavaScript, because I started my programming or learning about programming after learning Python, and there we are assumed to know that the code runs in a parallel way from the first line, then second and third, and so on. But here in our JavaScript, actually we can program the code to run whatever the way we want. For example, we if we have two functions, we can declare them to run at the same time, or we can ask a second function to wait until the first function completes, or sometime do the otherwise. I'm not completely sure about the second thing that I say, that we can do the otherwise, but just like you, I am also learning the JavaScript, so I am quite in the beginning. So how to link JavaScript in a HTML file? You can put it under a script tag, or you can make a separate JavaScript code. History of JavaScript. JavaScript is the most popular language on the earth. Advanced in JavaScript server, node, other framework. What if I made it slightly larger so you guys can see it? For JavaScript, no compiler is needed. So technically, every other computer which has a web browser in it, and most of do have, so JavaScript can be run anywhere. And with the installation of node environment which can run JavaScript without any browser, you can run it even in the terminal or console. JavaScripts add interactivity. If there's a single word which can provide you or say what does JavaScript do, the single answer is it provides interactivity to the web pages. That's all. And here comes the introduction to Node.js server application. What is a server application, by the way? This server application is the application that is running on a server. Uh, but what makes it different from the client side application? The actual difference is its end user. The server applications are configured and to be programmed by the programmer or the developer in order to provide the valuable data to a client side application. Mostly it also consists of logic just like client side application, but the difference is that it is not going to be directly interacted by the end user, but certainly it provides the data to the application which are going to interacted by the end user. Quite a loose definition, just like the JavaScript. Limitations of JavaScript. JavaScript can be used to fetch data using AJAX or by manipulating tags that load data, image, object, script. And simply these are thing called cross-site script attacks. Why JavaScript is known as lightweight programming language? Because it has low CPU uses, easy to implement, and has a minimalist syntax. JavaScript requires some kind of framework in order to do it things. Basically, it's a framework is a definition or a guideline in order to do something. So as JavaScript is so loosely packed, it requires or it uh, needs some kind of framework in order to define it how to perform the task that a user requires. For example, app that you want to run on computer, you have to do a framework. You want a thing to be done in a particular way, you need a framework. So these kind of memes pop up that every single day a new framework arises for JavaScript. And actually I also want to do a meme review just like this. So we almost finished this website, finish this web page, I'm very sorry. So now let's quiz it by selecting the introduction to JavaScript and selecting quiz me. Here we are followed by 10 quizzes by ChatGPT. I don't want to sign in, so stay logged out. So let's start with some question based on introduction to JavaScript. Multiple choice. What is JavaScript primarily used for? Server side, client side, database, operating system. So answer for the first is client side, hence B. Answer for second is true or false. JavaScript is a statically typed language. Statically what means? Loosely typed, I know. I think it's false. And answer for third is name two data types that are commonly used in JavaScript. Data types. Data types may be array, list, object, uh, array, object. Let's see. Great job. Correct, correct, and partially correct. Okay, it was asking me the primitive data type: number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbols, arrays, and object are complex type. Okay, okay, okay. So primarily it was asking me for the primitive data type, not the data structures. Multiple choice question. Next set of question. Which of the following is correct way to declare variable in JavaScript? Variable x, let x, const x. So actually I know very few things about JavaScript and it is one of the few things that I know. So here the answer is D. 4. 4D. JavaScript can manipulate the content of web page. Yes, because it's all it do. And sixth is, what does the acronym DOM stands for? Document Object Model. Document Object Model. Well done. Correct and correct. Finally, which of the following is not an JavaScript framework? I know Angular, React, Vue are the JavaScript framework, but this is Django, often pronounced as Django framework. It's a Python framework, and I know it because when I used to learn Python, uh, in a few video that shows how Python is so much versatile that it can be used anywhere, and with the use of Django and Flask we can make a web development framework, or we can make the web development programs using Python as well. True or false? In JavaScript, function are the first class citizen. I don't know what is the first class citizen, so I'm gonna ask the chat gpt himself what is the first class. And finally, for the short answer, what is the purpose of console.log function in JavaScript? It is the very easy. Just like the print statement in Python, console.log prints the actual entered line inside of these parentheses to the console. So the answer for 7 is C. 8 is, please tell me what are first class citizen. And answer for 9 is to print whatever comes inside of parenthesis on the console. My 7 is correct. Django is a web framework for Python, not JavaScript. Very good. JavaScript functions are considered first class citizens, meaning they can be assigned to variables, passed as arguments, and returned from other function. You can think of first class citizen as entity that can be treated like any other variable in the language. First class citizens are entities that can be treated like any other variable in the language. I've never heard of this kind of thing. Now the console log to print message output with the now there's more question. What symbols is used for comments? Views A. Hence 10. I'm after the stylus in hand, I am going to always mistype the period for commas. The triple equal operator checks for both value and type equality. Yes, it does. True. And next, what is the purpose of return statement? To get the output from the function, obviously. Let's see. The correct symbol for comment is option A. The number you provided. Okay, okay. But that doesn't matter. I know that it was the symbol. The triple equal checks for both value. Correct. The return stream used to have value. And there is a few more questions. The keyword used to define a constant variable in JavaScript. Const. Or true and false, JavaScript support object oriented programming? Oops, yes, it supports. And what does the type of operator do? The type of operator checks the type of what you say, data. So for 13 we're gonna go with A. For 14 we're gonna go with true, and for 15 we are gonna go with it checks for the type of data. That's all. Correct, correct, correct. And we are gonna follow up with more questions. Which of the following method used to convert a string to a number in JavaScript? String to number, parse int, parse float. All. And I'm going to do a guess here, and I'm going with all of the above because I don't know what this thing is saying. It's something like the method that we use in Python by surrounding some values over num or string parenthesis. We can make that value into a number or a string. Arrays in JavaScript can hold element of different types. Yes. The short, what is an event in JavaScript? So, but I'm for sure certainly these quizzes will help us in the further web pages that we are going to study about JavaScript. So let's answer it and move forward. Method to convert a string to a number. All of the above. D. For 17 JavaScript can hold element. True. And in 18, what is an event? Event. What is an event? Event is an occurrence or some executions done by uh, user of the website. Probably. Partially correct. All of the above, number, parse int, parse float can be used to convert. This is a new thing that I knew, so I'm gonna copy it. Methods used to, here we are gonna copy it and paste it here. Arrays in JavaScript can hold element of different types. I already knew that. An event in JavaScript to action or occurrence that happen in browser, such as user interaction, page loading, or other action that can trigger a specific code execution. So this is the correct definition for the event. Now there's a few final questions. So is it Shirley asking me the final questions? What does JSON stand for? And it is my favorite note making, or you can say the standardizing type, because I have made a very much complex notes using the JSON format. Actually, I love it. So let's say it stands for JavaScript object notation. So I'm going to with 19A. For 20, we're gonna go with this in there will refer to global object. No. So here in JavaScript, we have things like global or local scope. And it's just like the scope set in bash scripting, or I think Python also comprises of this kind of things. For example, you know a few things about aliases. The aliases are the alternative naming for a complex thing. Suppose you want to write a script, and every time you want to run that script, you don't have to write everything that is in script. You just have to run that script by using its file name. So aliases are just like that. Suppose you have to write a very long command, and in order to reuse that long command, you don't have to retype it. You can set is set the long command as an alias in a smaller, shorter command. And so, in order to use that aliases, you have to set a scope. Suppose you want that long command in every program or the in the environment which concludes that as an alias. It's slightly hard. So let's. I will certainly provide you the resource of what I'm trying to convey. So this keyword in JavaScript refer to global scope. No, it refers to local scope. The scope of a function in itself. Suppose we want to name two variables and the name of the both variables are same, but in JavaScript it may not conflict if the scope of the variable is limited in itself. So it won't conflict with the, it only conflict when the parameters of a function is named as the other variable present in the code. Might be, I think like I'm talking like rubbish and it doesn't mean any sense, but certainly I will show you. And maybe in this live stream I can definitely show you what I'm gonna mean it. What is a closure in JavaScript? I don't know. Please tell me what is a closure. CLOSURE. Okay, it doesn't need to have an U. JSON stand for JavaScript object notation. The this refers to which is normally called it vary how function is invoked. Closure in JavaScript is a function that retain access to its outer scope, the lexical scope, even after the outer function has finished executing. This allows the inner function to remember the environment in which it was created. Actually, I didn't get it. So we're gonna research it further by having a double hashtag. Actually, what it does, it created a heading in the markdown file, but it also highlighted this section so I can look it back. Okay, now our question has finished. Now let's move to the next web page, which is introduction to the history of JavaScript. I think we already did the history of JavaScript, applications, limitations, introduction. No, we didn't executed the history. Let's learn the history of JavaScript. Read with me and read it fastly because I don't think it will matter very much in our learning of JavaScript. If 95% websites use JavaScript, then what the other language that remaining 5% website use? Maybe the plain HTML or CSS website? Var functions add two parameters a and b, return a plus b. Okay. Arrow functions, default parameter value, rest parameter were added to ECMAScript 6. Let's see. What quizzes are here. I want to stay logged out. Who created JavaScript? And I'm gonna cheat here. Brendan Eich. So answer is B. Brendan Eich. JavaScript originally developed in just 10 days. Actually, I haven't heard about it. Was it originally developed in 10 days? I think no, because it's a very tough task to develop a language. But JavaScript is so loosely packed, it might be true. So I am going with I don't know. Wow. Brendan Eich developed JavaScript in about 10 days in May 1995. What is the original name of JavaScript? We know that it's live script. JavaScript was officially released. Here we just learned that the JavaScript is developed in 10 days in May 1995. So I'm going with the 1995 as well. Next question. JavaScript is primarily used for server-side programming. No. Next. Which major companies played a significant role in promoting JavaScript by integrating into web browser? Netscape Navigator. The company name is probably Mozilla. I'm gonna go with Mozilla. Let's see what happens. Close, but not correct. JavaScript Netscape Navigator, the Netscape Communication Corporation. Mozilla later developed from Netscape. Okay. So Mozilla later developed from Netscape. Key feature of JavaScript. Compiled, object oriented, none of the above. Strongly typed no. This is no. Compiled no. It is an interpreted kind of object oriented. Yes, it is object oriented. Mostly, most of the time. So I'm gonna say. And what is prototype based? We will ask it later. Prototype based. Java and same programming language. No. JavaScript or Java is distinct programming with different syntax, use cases, and design principle. Primary use of JavaScript. We know that the word that I was just told, interactivity. Interacti. Next question. Which of the following framework is built on JavaScript? React. Let's give you some context. It is a Python framework. Ruby on Rails is an Ruby framework as it names. React is an JavaScript framework and Laravel is a PHP framework. Control enter doesn't send responses. Shift enter doesn't send responses. I'm gonna tab and enter. It also doesn't send responses. My only option is clicking the send button. JavaScript can be used to manipulate HTML and CSS. Exactly. JavaScript. Here, your next question: what is significance of ECMAScript in relation to? It actually develops the JavaScript, uh, adding of new methods, language development. ECMAScript is the standardized specification that JavaScript is based on, which define the language syntax and the core features. It facilitates addition of new methods and improvement to the language. This is a good thing. Which version of ECMAScript is released in 2015? 4 was released in 2022. Then ECMAScript 6B. It introduced the arrow function, classes, promises, etc. JavaScript can run only in web browser. No, all you need is an JavaScript running environment such as Node.js. You have to install Node. That's right. JavaScript can run outside of web browser using environment like Node.js. Name one popular JavaScript library used for handling HTTP request. How to handle HTTP request? Library, which library uses? Truthfully speaking, I don't know. Okay, one popular JavaScript library for handling HTTP request is Axios. It simplifies the process of making network request. JavaScript library, Axios. Common method for a method to select an HTML element. Get element by ID. I think A. I watched a few video about JavaScript in where we used to select the element by using the method get element by ID. JavaScript is a synchronous language by default. Yes, we have to write the keyword async in order to make it asynchronous or make a function asynchronous. Yes. But this statement is false. Java is a single threaded and executes synchronously, but it also supports asynchronous programming through callback promises and async await. Okay. What is the purpose of this keyword? Defines local scope of a function. Probably this is what does that this keyword in JavaScript is the context in which function which can be vary depending on how the function is called. It does not strictly define local scope, but rather points to the object that is currently executing the function. Yeah. Next, what is JSON stands for? This same question, JavaScript object notation. JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. It is a lightweight data interchange format that's easy for humans to read and write. Next, arrays can hold multiple datas. True. What is closure? Actually, we learned about the function that retain access to its outer scope. Explain it like I am 5. Actually, I actually still don't understand what an closure is. Sure, imagine you having a toy box that a function that you put some toys, variables. Closure is like having a special friend who can remember what toys are in your toy box even when they are not looking at it. Even if your friend goes somewhere else, they can still play with the toys because they remember where they are. Even if your friend goes somewhere else, they can still play with the toys because they remember where they are. A closer lets a function keep access to its own variable even after it's finished running. Next. Okay, so all for this. Next to JavaScript code execution. Java is a synchronous move to next time only when the execution of current line is command and single threaded execution. Everything is wrapped inside the execution context, which in abstract contents can be treated as container which holds the whole information about the environment which the JavaScript is being executed. Now execution context has two components, and JavaScript code gets executed in two phases: memory allocation and code execution phase. In this phase, memory allocation phase, in this phase, all the function and variables of the JavaScript code get stored as key value pair inside the memory component of the execution context. In the case of a function, JavaScript copied the whole function into memory block, but in case of variable, it assigns undefined as a placeholder. All the function and variables of JavaScript code get stored as a key value pair inside the memory component of the execution context. And next is code execution phase. In this phase, the JavaScript code is executed one line at a time inside the code component, also known as thread of execution of execution context. Let's see the whole process through an example. Suppose a variable which is assigned a number to, then function which is square of n, which what it does is a variable res. It also creates a new variable known as res. It multiplies its input parameters with itself and returns the new variable. So the new variable stores the output of the multiplication of its parameter by itself. Okay. In the above, there are two variables named number and new number. One function named square, which is returning the square of the number. So when we run this program, Java, the global executing context is so the memory allocation phase, the memory will be allocated for these variables and function like this. JavaScript in single threaded language runs again through the code line by line, updates the value stored in memory allocation phase in the component. Again through the code line by line and updates the value of function and variables stored in memory allocation phase in memory component. So in code execution phase, whenever a new function is called, a new execution context is created. Every time a function is invoked in code component, new execution content It is created inside the global context stage. Okay. Okay. Here we are seeing the different context. So in our memory component, we see number, which is currently undefined, square, which take this number and returns the new number, the returns the res, which is also undefined. And here is code component, n is undefined, and the res, new variable, is also undefined. So again, before the memory allocation is completed in the memory component or the new execution context, then the new code execution phase out continuity corrects the execution context. So the global context will look like this. Values assigned in the memory component after the execution the code line by line. Call stack. When a program starts execution in JavaScript, pushes the whole program as a global context to a stack, which is known as call stack. The continuous execution. When JavaScript executes a new context, it just followed the same process and pushes to a stack. When the context finish, JavaScript just pops the top of the stack accordingly. Global execution, execution context one, execution, and this. I need to have a quiz on this because I still didn't understand what this web pages just said to me. Code execution, and here I see the quiz. What is the output of the following JavaScript code snippet? Access 10, function is foo, console.load log x. So here we are inputting the parameter x and variable x, then we are assigning it 20. So I think it is a global assigned function and we are just printing the variable x. So the answer should be 10. So for the first, the answer is A. For the second, in JavaScript function are executed in order. They are defined in the code. Yes, it's true. Third, explain the concept of hoisting in JavaScript code execution. Hoisting. What is hoisting? I don't know. You tell me. For answer for the fourth, what is the correct sequence of phase in execution context of JavaScript programming? Creation and execution, hoisting execution, scope reserve creation, execution, garbage collection, hoisting, garbage collection, and execution. As per I remembered, we haven't learned the hoisting phase yet. We just have the memory allocation and code execution. Memory allocation and code execution. So I'm gonna go with one. The creation phase, or we can refer as memory allocation phase, and the execution phase. Fifth, the difference between synchronous and asynchronous code in JavaScript. Synchronous means line by line execution, while asynchronous asynchronous means waiting for the response of some other code. Let's see. The correct answer is C. The variable x inside of the function is hoisted. So console log undefined before the assignment happens. Okay, okay. So here we have the global variable x, and inside the function there is no x defined before printing it, so it will print undefined, because we have just seen that the in memory allocation phase the number is undefined when this function is assigned to a memory, hence it will print the undefined. Okay, 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 okay. You answered true. This is false. Function are executed based on the order they are called. Okay. It is very little thing that help me tumble. Hosting is a JavaScript mechanism where variables and function declarations are moved to the top of their containing scope during the compile phase. This means that you can use function and variables before they are declared in the code. This is a new thing that I learned. Next, you selected creation and execution, which is correct. Okay, finally we got a one thing right. Your expression is on right track. Synchronous means code runs sequentially, one line after another. Asynchronous execution allows program to continue running while waiting for certain operations like network request to complete, which helps avoiding blocking the main thread. Good. If I need some more questions, let's go with yes. Only this time. What will be the output of the following code? Console.log 1 set timeout, एक function है arrow function, one function which is an arrow function which console.log 2 after 0 second, and console.log 3 1 2 3 1 3 2 2 1 3. So by going with the synchronous method, it first print the 1, then certainly it will print 2, but it's not any async keyword written here. So for first, I'm gonna go with A. For second, JavaScript is a single threaded, meaning it can only execute one piece of code at a time. I think that means true. Or third, short answer, what is the purpose of this? This defines the scope or the context of the function. Fourth, which of the following statement about JavaScript is true? Not compiled. JavaScript can manipulate, so B will be the right answer. Let's say used for server, false. Does not support object oriented, false. Then only true is B. And fifth, short answer, explain what a callback function in JavaScript. Callback function. A function that calls. So my perfect guess would be a recursive function, like a recursive function which calls itself. Might be. The correct answer is B, 132. The set timeout function is asynchronous, so it will execute after the call stack is clear. Okay, this is a new thing that I learned. This is indeed true. JavaScript run in single time in one. Your answer is partially correct. That this keyword in the refer to context in which function is executed, which can vary depending how a function is called. You selected B, which is correct. JavaScript can manipulate the DOM as is widely used for client-side programming. Your explanation of a callback function is not quite accurate. A callback function is a function that is passed as an argument to another function and is executed after some operation is completed, not necessarily a recursive function. For example, it often used in asynchronous programming to handle the result of operation once it's done. I'm gonna narrate it once again so I understand it clearly. A callback function is a function that is passed as an argument to another function and is executed after operation is completed. Function that is passed as an argument to another function. Explain callback function with an example. So here is callback function with an example. Function fetch data, callback set timeout. Okay, we already learned that set timeout function is an asynchronous function. Function dot process data. Fetch data function. This function simulates fetching data using set timeout to mimic a delay like an API call. Once the data is fetched after 2 seconds, it calls the callback function. It calls the callback function to provide as an argument, passing the fetch data in it. Okay, callback data. Suppose the data set timeout. It is inside a set timeout function which sets a delay of 2000 milliseconds, which is a 2-second delay, and the data is passed as ID name and it is passed into the callback. Process data, processing data. So callback takes a parameter. It fetches a data, then gives its data. Process data, which is data. So instead of returning data directly, we are using the name call function callback. Okay. Callback is something that I need to be aware of again. Finally, console in JavaScript. A web console serves as a tool for logging various information associated with a web page, including network requests, JavaScript output, security errors, CSS, etc. What is a console object? The console object provide access to web browser debugging console, opening console, Control Shift I, or option Command Option K for Mac. We can also enter the console by using the inspect method found in Firefox. F12 is the go-to key to open the console. Here we are finding JavaScript console. I think Control and I also opens, no, not here. Control and K. No, it opens the search. No problem. Console.log. Basically, the log method prints the statement. Console.error method is used to log error message. Okay. Console.warn. This is a warning message. Console.clear. Clear message. Console.time. Console.time ABC. Okay. Console.table function. E value 1, B values 2. And we have count method console.count I. Then we have group method console.group simple warn error log. Okay, warn error log. Group end console.log new section. Okay, okay. So group and with dot group end. Okay, we can stylize the console logs as well. Consoles const spacing 10 pixels. Style is equal to padding. Spacing which takes the variable here. Background color white, color green, font style italic, border 1 pixel, solid black, font size 2M. The syntax for it to add the CSS styling as a parameter to logs which replace the %c in the logs. Okay. So in short time, we learned about .log, .error, .var, dot clear dot time followed by dot time, and then we learnt about table where data is in key value pair. Then we learned about count method. Then we learned about group followed by group end method, and finally we learned about the CSS. I think I copied it, but don't worry. Okay. I want to test it. Console dot clear. Console was cleared. Then I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna paste the first line only. We have set the spacing. Now I'm gonna set the style. Okay. Now I'm gonna console.log. %c. Harsh. And we have to pass these styles. Good. It takes very little to make me happy, and this is the answer of it. Time to move to next chapter or the next web page. JavaScript versions: ES1, ES2, ES3, ES4, ES5, ES6, and need for ES next. Is it important to remember all this? In 2015 we have ES6. ES1 is 1997. The JavaScript is launched in 1995. Currently it is ES14, the latest iteration. What is ES? ES stands for ECMAScript, Standardized Scripting Language Specification. I think I have already noted it. ECMAScript is an standardized specification that JavaScript is based on, which defines the language syntax, semantics, and core features. Key features introduced in ES6: arrow, function, classes, template literals, default parameters, destructuring assignment, modules, promises, latent const. Time to move to JavaScript syntax. After covering the first JavaScript basics, all of the above links, I'm gonna go for a break. So hang tight, it will be finishing soon. Basic syntax, variable declaration, variable assignment, variable calculation, JavaScript literals, JavaScript variables, JavaScript operators, JavaScript expression, okay, JavaScript keywords, JavaScript comments. In the music right now, you can hear the harpsichord, the thrill type of sound. I actually love the harpsichord music. JavaScript function are blocks of code when used to perform some particular operation. JavaScript function executed when someone calls it. Okay, we already know that. Next is JavaScript are case sensitive. JavaScript are often written in camel case, means the first letter is small, then consecutive, the letter or the word change is capitalized. And here we reach the finish of this JavaScript basic syntax. JavaScript comments. I am sure that it won't be going very hard. For example, double forward slashes means single line comment. A forward slash followed by an asterisk is a multi-line comment. And that's all. In order to end a multi-line comment, you have to put an asterisk followed by a forward slash. Where to put JavaScript in HTML? We already know that it can be put inside the script tag or in a separate file. One second. Here what we are doing is we are putting the JavaScript in the head section. Usually we used to put it in the body section within the script tag. And here is the putting of a script tag inside of a body tag. External JavaScript, which is file named script.js. In HTML, we have to link that file by using the keyword src, which stands for source. The source for the JavaScript is script.js. Next, advantage of external JavaScript: faster page load time, readability and maintenance, separation of concern, code reusability, asynchronous and deferred JavaScript. Async attributes loads the JavaScript asynchronously, meaning the script will be downloaded and executed as soon as it is available without blocking the page. Defer attributes. The defer attribute delete the execution of a script until the entire HTML document has been passed. This is particularly useful for the script that manipulates the DOM. Okay. Okay. How to reference external JavaScript files? We can reference an external script in 3 ways. Okay. By using a file path or without using any path. And here we comes the exclusive topic of learning about absolute path and relative path. We often, while referencing stuff, we use the dot slash, and there the VS Code automatically allows us to see the file name or whatever the content is in that folder. But that is known as reference path, which often reference to the directory in which we are currently present in. Suppose in the start of the video, we pass the command touch.readme that you can see here. So this touch.readme file is created in the directory which is the absolute directory of development. But when I change my directory to JS geek for geek, then pass the same command, then the development occurs here. If we pass the command pwd, it prints the absolute path which is in root, home, hash, development, and then this folder. It is the absolute path. Okay. Suppose I want to go back. What I can do is to pass command cd dot dot. The first dot implies the reference that we are here, and the second dot implies that we want to go back. Hence, we jump to the back directory. Another form in order to go back is pass the whole absolute path home slash hash slash development, and we are in the back directory. And we can certainly go back to its root again by using the reference method double dot, which push me to the hash directory. The beauty of reference path is that we don't need to remember the exact directory name, but the beauty of what we used to say full path or the absolute path is that if we remember the absolute name of the directories, we can jump from there to another directory in just a single command without having to referencing it back to some 3 to 4 directly early and then moving back to or passing change directory command again and again. Suppose, for example, right now I am in hash directory, and if we list all the files, there are so many files here, and if I want to go directly to the development and after the development I want to directly jump to the JSGFG file and visit the concatenate the readme file there, I can do it directly by using the absolute path. So we have to enter nano. Nano is a command editor, or you can say the text editor built in the terminal. We have to enter the absolute path nano slash, which is root. And what was the absolute path? Home hash development JSGFG. Home hash development, then JS JavaScript, and the file is readme.md, and directly in a single command we can edit the file that we are just opened in the above window. I think I'm overlapping the file, so it might not be visible. Let me check. Yes, I am slightly overlapping it, but not bad that much. So you can see that the beauty of absolute path, it is located in the home hash development jsgfg readme.md. That's all. Let's move to the next web page. JavaScript first program hello world. This is going to be the easiest one. Console.log method hello world, and here we write document.write hello world, and this is a new thing. Document.write method in the JavaScript allows you to display hello world directly on the web page. This method is straightforward and places the text within the HTML document. However, it is not generally only suitable for simple demos or initial page loads. Okay. Using alert method. The alert method displays a pop-up alert box with the message It is useful for simple notification. Okay, hello world. Okay, that's all. We have JavaScript data types. Primitive data types are number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbol, big int. Numbers are stored in double precision 64-bit binary format defined by IEEE 754. IEEE stands for International Engineering Task Force. No, that was when I was studying for CCNA. Let's see what IEEE stands for. Let's see. First, let's see what IEEE stands for. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer. Okay. Number, string, boolean, null, undefined symbol. JavaScript strings are made up of list of characters, essentially an array of characters. Boolean represents a logical entity which can have two values, true or false. Null. This type has only one value, null. Undefined, a variable that has not been assigned, a value is undefined. Symbol. Symbols return unique identifier that can be used as property key in object without colliding with another key. A symbol returns unique identifier which can be used as property keys in object without colliding with another key. Actually, I didn't get it. What the buzz about symbols? Non-primitive data type. Object, most important data type, form building block of modern JavaScript. We will learn about these data types in detail in further articles. Null. Symbol. Symbols are new primitive data type introduced as a part of ES6. The symbol is a unique immutable primitive value that is used as identifier for object properties. Symbols are primarily used for creating unique property keys in object, ensuring that there are no conflicts with other properties. For example, symbol 1 is symbol geek and symbol 2 is symbol gigs. Each time symbol method is used to create new global symbol, console.symbol log is false because symbols are always unique. Okay. Okay. Even though both the things are same, the equal, or you can say the triple equal method answers false. Okay. And on this article, certainly I need the quiz. So by selecting symbol, asking for quiz me. Big int powers up to 2 power 53. Stay log. I'm on the page JavaScript data types geek for geeks. What is the purpose of JavaScript symbols? To store key value to create unique identifier for the object properties. B. Symbols are immutable and cannot be changed once created. I think false. Actually, this statement is true. Symbols are indeed immutable, means one symbol is created, it cannot be changed. We have to learn something about symbols. Symbols are immutable, one symbol cannot be changed. Next, how can you create a symbol in JavaScript? We provide an example. symbol. That's it. Almost. The correct way is to create a symbol by using the symbol function. Okay. Which of the following statement is true about the symbol? Symbol are always the same even with the same description. Yes. A. That's incorrect. The correct answer is symbol can be used as object keys. While symbols are unique, even if the two symbols are with the same description, they are different. They cannot be converted to strings directly and are not limited to global scope. Okay. Symbols. This symbols can be used as object keys while the symbols are unique, even meaning that even to with the same description they are different. They cannot be converted and not limited to global scope. Next, if the symbols are included in JavaScript for in loop when iterating over object properties, we can use the for in loop while we are iterating over a string or an array or an object, but symbols are not any of them. But symbols can be converted into objects. Can be done, I think. The correct answer is false. Symbols are not included in for in loop while iterating an object properties. You will need to use object.get on property symbols to retrieve properties that use symbols as keys. There's a lot of things about symbols that I need to study. Which method can you use to retrieve all symbols of properties of an object? What method can you use to retrieve all the symbols? Dot get own property symbol. Dot get own property. Get own property symbols. Method used to retrieve all the symbol properties of an object. First, let's copy this. Which of the following is way to create symbol with the description of my symbol? Let's my symbol. We have to use new keyword or not? Let's see. Kind of cheating. I know. No, we don't have to use a new keyword. Hence, A will be the answer. Uh, Let me ask ChatGPT first this question. Why we don't need to use new key or creating a symbol in JavaScript. Symbol is designed to be called as a function rather than a constructor. Okay. What, the two symbols created with the same description are equal to each other? No. बिल्कुल. Exactly. Can you use symbols as keys in regular object? Actually, we just learned that symbols can be used as key. Symbol as keys. Exemplify for me. My symbol equal to symbol unique key. Okay. Let my object, my symbol, this is value associated with my symbol. Console.log, my object, may my symbol. What will be the following code logs to console? Symbol 1 equal to symbol test, symbol 2 symbol false. It will output false. And I think that's enough for symbol. Let's move to data types. We have studied data types. Now we have to study variables. Assignment operator is equal. How to declare variables are case sensitive, meaning the variables in different cases are different variables indeed. Variables can only begin with letter, underscore, or a dollar symbol. It can contain letter, number, underscore, or dollar. A variable name cannot be reserved keyword. Reserved keywords are the keywords that are already defined as a function or method in JavaScript. JavaScript is a dynamically typed language decided at runtime, no explicitly defined type of variable, var, let, const. The const is a method in which we cannot redeclare the variable once created. We declare variable using const if the value should not be changed. We use const if the type of variable should not be changed, such as working with arrays and object. We use let if we want a mutable object, which we cannot use const. Or we choose var only when if we support old browser. So we are quite limited by the let and const. And this is the comparison of property let, var and const in JavaScript. Var is function scoped, let is block scoped, const is block scoped. Const is immutable, let is mutable. And var is also mutable. Let cannot be redeclared, const cannot be redeclared, var can be redeclared. Difference between updation and redeclaration. What is it? Hey chat, what's the difference between redec, redeclaration, and updation of variables in JS? Redeclaration. A redeclaration occurs when you declare a variable that already exists within the same scope. Okay. This can lead to different behaviors how the variable originated. Suppose a var x is 10, then var x is 20. No error because x is now 20 and has been redeclared. Next, using let at const. You cannot redeclare a variable that was declared with using let or const. This will result in a syntax error. Okay. Okay. Updating means changing the value. Redeclaration, attempting to declare a variable that already exists in same scope, which behave differently based on updating, changing the value of existing, which allowed for work and partially for concept dealing with object. And I think only have let keyword explained remains. Block scoped, global scope. I think this is important. Inside the curly braces, we have let num equal to 10, console.num 10, and here we have console.log num, and we get an error because it is a block scoped. Next, we have global scope in which the declaration of a variable is done in wild. And finally, we are in function scope in which the declaration of a variable is inside of a function. We can assign the same named variable twice, one in a function, one in a block scope, and the other one in the what you can say global scope. So after console log x, we are actually meaning with this x, and in this console.log x message, we are dealing with this x, redeclaring variable in the same block. Illegal. We have already just known that the let, I think the let does not allow the redeclaration. We can certainly change it. Let or const. We are going to use only two, let and const. So we can, if we remove the let keyword, then x can be reassigned 67. But we are using the let twice. It is considered illegal. Does not support hoisting. The behavior of moving declaration on top of the script is known as hoisting. Hoisting is a JavaScript mechanism where variables and function declarations are moved to the top of their containing scope during the compile phase. This means that you can use function and variables before they are declared in the code. Okay. And we already finished the thing. Now, time for var keyword. Break is coming soon, baby. Example of JavaScript var. Variable test function foo console.log test function test 1 test 2 test 3 console test 1 4 2 console.log. Actually the printing or logging of the test variable is happens before even the variable is declared, hence it is printed undefined. And var can be redeclared, hence the latest value of the var is printed here. We will try to delete a global variable declared using var in the use strict mode. Use strict. Use var equal to delete test. We have to learn about use strict. What is use strict in JS while dealing with var? In JavaScript, use strict is a directive that enables strict mode. This applies to certain constraints to JavaScript code, making it more secure and helping to avoid common pitfalls. Eliminate silent error. Use strict. Reference error. Access not defined. Disallow parameter name. Duplicate parameter name not allowed. Okay. This undefined. Okay. Preventing var hoisting issue. The var declaration hoisted using strict may help enforce better practice. If you attempt to use a variable declared with var before its declaration, it will still be undefined in both mode. But the strict mode encourage proper variable declaration practices. Disallows with a statement. With a statement allows it can make code harder to understand. With math, strict may not include a with a statement. Okay. We will look what this with thing. Using use strict can catch and enforce coding practice when dealing with var and as you try to write code more cleaner and more reliable. Okay, let's move to back to our browser. Time to finish the const keyword. The const keyword is to define it cannot be changed when they assign. It has a block scope, cannot be assigned to variable on the declaration line, primitive value. The property of const object can be changed, but it cannot be changed to a referenced new object. A redeclaration of const variable inside a different block scope is hoisted, cannot be hoisted. It's only a read-only reference value. Hoisting is a JavaScript mechanism where variables and function declarations are moved to the top of their containing scope during the compile phase. Okay. It accepts the assign it after a declaration. Okay, I need to look at very very clearly because I might something miss here and there. It defines or describes the const variable cannot be reassigned. For example, x is equal to 12, x is equal to 13. No reassignment possible. Then we have const variable which consists of a block scope. Here we can see variables must be assigned. It describes the const variable and assigns it after declaration. Okay, values must be assigned while the time of declaration cannot be hoisted. It describes the const variable cannot be hoisted. Const x. Okay. And this is the initializer keyword which need to be in the present before the x in order to initialize this. Const in array, const array, console.array to string possible and const of nor. Okay, const in object, const function. Okay, and that's all. That's all for now, guys. But before ending our stream or ending this video, I'm going to just check my RAM because I haven't closed a single tab that we have just studied. And we have a VS Code, OBS Studio, a VLC media player all running at once. And I have 8 gigs of RAM in this PC. And let's see how Arch Linux manages my RAM. I use Arch by the way. And after running the htop command, we can see we only have 4.42 or 4.4 gigs full out of the 7.65 gigs available, which is a very good RAM optimization done by Arch Linux or the Arch kernel here. That's great. Thank you for joining me for this stream. I hope I will do the next as soon as possible. Thank you.